Venus of Willendorf. c. 28,000–25,000 BCE, probably a fertility statue due to the emphasized hips and breasts, was also formed around the naturally occurring belly button. Woman holding a bison horn. Lasso, France, c. 25,000–20,000 BCE, speculated to be a fertility statue. 2 Bison relief sculpture. Arigue, France, c. 15,000–10,000 BCE, ancient additive sculpture. Bison with turned head. Dordogne, France, c. 12,000 BCE, effective use of material to portray the entire animal. Hall of the Bulls. Lasso, France, c. 15,000–13,000 BCE, scale is relatively non-existent. This suggests that multiple people have recorded in this space. Illustration over illustration suggests that these were not for decorative purposes, but for hunting rituals. Spotted horses and negative hand imprints. Pech-Merle, France, 22,000 BC. Gaurdian Lamassu at the Citadel of Sargon II. Iraq, 735–720 BCE, contributes to the feeling of a controlled space. Ashurbanipal to killing lions. Nineveh, c. 645–640 BCE. Assyrian archers pursuing enemies. Nimrod, c. 875–860 BCE. White Temple and Ziggurat. Arik, Iraq, c. 3200–3000 BCE, earliest known example of Sumerian architecture. These were the religious and administrative centers of the city-states. This is where the high officials were. Nanna Ziggurat. Iraq, c. 2100 BCE, ziggurat dedicated to Nanna. Votive statuettes from Tel Asmar. Tel Asmar, 2700 BCE. Female head. Arik, Iraq, c. 3200–3000 BCE. Object was important since it was made of marble, which had to be imported to the area. It was probably adorned with precious metals rather than be worn. Presentation of offerings to Inanna. Arik, Iraq, c. 3200–3000 BCE. Use of hieratic scale, which determines importance by size. Standard of her. c. 2600 BCE, called a standard because standards were banners. Bull-headed lyre. c. 2600 BCE, use of heraldic design, which means it is bilaterally symmetrical. Head of an Akkadian ruler. Nineveh, c. 2250–2200 BCE, shows that power bound in representation. This shows a shift of leadership from the city-state to the ruler himself. Stele of Naramsin. Susa, Iran, 2254-2218 BCE, first time that a ruler is depicted with adornments of a deity. This shows that the ruler Doesn't see himself as a representative of a deity, but the deity in the seated statue of Gudea. Gershu, Iraq, 2100 BCE. Statue is made of diorite, which is a very durable stone. This attests to their wealth and power, but also to their eternal piety. Stele with the Law Code of Hammurabi. Iran, c. 1780 BCE, first legal code that was standardized. The top depiction shows Hammurabi receiving the code from a god. Stepped pyramid and mortuary precinct of Djoser. c. 2630-2575 BCE, made up of 6 mastabas of decreasing size, this more than likely the first Egyptian pyramid. Architecture influenced the Greek architecture. Egyptian architecture was built to last, rather than for decorative appearance. Great Pyramids. Giza, Egypt, c. 2575-2450. The Khufu pyramid covers 13 acres, only slight variations of the size of the sides, each corresponding with cardinal directions. Great Sphinx. Giza, Egypt, c. 2520-2494 BCE, similar to the Assyrian Lamassu, but it is more than likely a representation of Khafre rather than a Gaurdian. Seated statue of Khafre. c. 2520-2494, made of solid diorite, which makes it incredibly heavy. This contributes to its purpose as a home for the Ka, or soul. The god Horus is holding his neck, acting as a support bit. This also has symbolic significance. Menkaure and Khamerenebty. c. 2490-2472 BCE, seated scribe. Saqqara, Egypt, c. 2450-2350 BCE, does not depict any particular person, but rather focuses on class status. Kuiper, c. 2450-2350 BCE, Mortuary Temple of Hatshepsut. Egypt, c. 1473-1458 BCE, organically flows into its surroundings. It would be filled with gardens and pools. Pillars are a pretense to the Doric style. Hatshepsut with offering jars. c. 1473-1458 BC, Temple of Ramses II. c. 1250 BCE, was cut out of the rock. It was reconstructed 200 feet up the hill to avoid water damage. Temple of Amen-Re. c. 1250 BCE, hypostyle hall topped by a clear story in order to let in light and air. Pillars are decorated with hieroglyphics. Death Mask of Tutankhamun. c. 1336 to 1327 BCE, one of the many artifacts found in his tomb. This is made of gold, lapis lazuli, and other precious materials. Menchvit. 650 BCE, very straight and cut out of a block, no removal of dead space in order to promote the structural integrity. Palace at Knossos. Crete, c. 1700 to 1400 BCE. Legend tells that this was the location of a great labyrinth in which a minotaur was kept. In all actuality, the compound is complex enough to be a labyrinth since there is no direct passage to the center. The pillar's design is coming closer to the Doric order of columns, with swelling capitals and rounded shafts. Most, if not all, found were reconstructed by Sir Arthur Evans. It is also notable that the palace had a terracotta plumbing system. Bull leaping fresco. c. 1450 to 1400 BCE, heavily restored, which is evident to the fragmented shades of the fresco. Spring fresco. Thera, Greece, c. 1650 BCE, landscape without human figures, which is unusual for this time period. It is stylized, meaning it is intentionally non-naturalistic. The only naturalistic element is the shadowing reacting to a single light source. Snake goddess. Knossos, c. 1600 BCE, may have been associated with fertility and regeneration, very frontal orientation, meaning it is supposed to be viewed only from the front. Fusion of naturalistic and abstract elements. Harvester S. vase. Trietta, Greece, c. 1500 BCE, very small, but 27 figures have been crammed into this space. There is a sense of depth due to the overlap of figures, which has not been seen before this. It is evident that the sculptor has actually observed human bodily functions. Citadel at Mycenae. c. 1600 to 1500 BCE, several artifacts have been found relating to Egypt, showing that there was interaction. Inlaid daggers. c. 1600 to 1500 BCE, bronze blade along with niello, which is an alloy of several materials that turns black. This allowed for the figures to contrast and pop. Gold funeral mask. c. 1600 to 1500 BCE, uses repousse to form a relief. Mask of Agamemnon. c. 1600 to 1500 BCE, oddly resembles the finder of the artifacts, Heinrich Schliemann. This has led to the speculation that this really is the original mask. Citadel at Tiryns. c. 1400 to 1200 BCE, easily defendable, which shows that defense was the main concern. Center is called. The measuron uses psychopoline masonry, referring to the one-eyed giants who seem to be the only ones who could move them. Lion Gate. Mycenae, Greece, 1300 to 1250 BCE. Gate similar to that of Tiryns. Lion heads are missing since they were made of different materials, probably gold or another precious metal. Treasury of Aterus. c. 1300 to 1250 BCE. Stromus is the large passageway. Thales is the beehive-shaped tomb. It was the largest uninterrupted structure until shortly after the beginning of the Common Era. Hero and Centaur. c. 750-730 BCE, particularly small, represents the centaur as a full human with the back of the horse attached, similar to Mycenaean body structure. Manticlos Apollo. Thebes, 700-680 BCE, not a depiction of the Greek god Apollo, but rather a dedication to him. Metropolian Kouros. c. 600 BCE, idealized figure made out of marble, not a particular person. Kroios. c. 530 BCE, similar to the Kouros, except that this has taken more towards naturalism rather than stylized versions of the human form.